Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. As-salatu was-salamu ala Seyed al-Mursaleen, Nabeena Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Those who are back, maybe can come forward, no, in the front. Okay, please sisters. Yes. I want to be interactive, so it helps me to see the face and ask the questions, inshallah. Inshallah, I'll be presenting this particular topic, presenting Islam to non-Muslims. Instead of using the word dawah, I would say presenting Islam to non-Muslims. Now, when we talk about non-Muslims, we have to think some important aspects related to them, such as who are they, with reference to our faith. For example, for Muslims, the non-Muslims are kuffar, kafirs, isn't it? So we have to review this particular thing. When we say kuffar, then how we can treat them in general and particularly with reference to dawah. Why they are non-Muslims? If they are non-Muslims, this is a very important question. Why they are non-Muslims? And more important is, why are they not Muslims? This question is very important because it reflects our role in this. If they are not Muslims, simply because nobody has told them about Islam. Very simple. So who is to blame? Us. So these sort of things which we need to ponder upon, think when we talk about non-Muslims. Just rejecting them, they are kuffar, they are people of different faiths, we cannot be friendly to them, we cannot be close to them. And all those questions which are associated with the word kafir or kuffar, when we put this question why they are not Muslims, then it makes us feel shame on us. Even to the extent that I will give one example of one khaddama, maid servant. In my work, one colleague was talking about his story. Sri Lankan housemate. She was working for many years. One day the madam said, "Why don't you be a Muslim?" Then that lady, that khaddama, this servant, she said, "Is it possible? Can I be a Muslim?" She was so happy to listen this. She was thinking that Muslims, they have got certain sort of prestige to be Muslim and they have to behave in a particular way. It is not meant for every Tom, Dick and Harry. So when this question was put to her, she was very happy and she said, "Yes, you can be a Muslim." So she was so happy that she got tears in her eyes that this is possible, because she was observing the Muslim way of life in that house. Alhamdulillah, they were practicing Muslims. The madam also was praying regularly, things like that. But it never happened, never occurred to her mind that she should ask something or should talk something about Islam to her. So when she talked to her, straight she put this question, "Why don't you be Muslim?" Which is not proper, of course, before explaining Islam, just putting this question. So this shows that we are not doing our job and we blame non-Muslims. Same thing, the things associated with non-Muslims, people are our enemies or they don't like us or they hate us, and all those questions, simply because we have never been in a position to talk to them, sit with them, engage with them. They remain They remain tied up with their own misunderstandings, and there is no opportunity to clear up their misunderstandings. So this is the thing which we have to think about when we talk about presenting Islam to non-Muslims. So what is needed is that we need to communicate with them. We don't communicate. I will give another example. I keep traveling to America also. Outside a church, because in America, Muslims are in a very bad shape. A lot of attacks they go against Muslims in the media and otherwise also. So outside a church, the priest had put a big board or banner, something like that. We have to kick out the Muslims from America. Very offensive message. Naturally, Muslims like us who are emotional, immediately will react with a sense of tit for tat. So these are kafirs, they're this thing, down with them, things like that, all negative feelings bring it. But alhamdulillah, one brother from the Islamic Center, he phoned the priest and asked, can you give him an appointment for about half an hour? I want to talk to you. For what? Regarding this banner. So he said, okay. So he went there, and when he explained and talked to him, and that priest was surprised. He said, really? Is it so? And then he removed that banner. That means the ignorance. The main enemy is ignorance. And this ignorance is because there is no one to communicate to them. If we had done our job properly, then all those things which are happening probably would not have happened. And still, I have my own friends in America for 30, 40 years. Another generation is growing there. But our attitude remains same. If they are gone from India or Pakistan or some Arab country, they remain attached to their own cultural baggage. Once I told my friend to come for attending one interfaith meeting or some program was there. I told my friend, let us go there, this is very important. He said, brother, I am interested in my own faith. I am not interested in interfaith. Living in America, suffering from the onslaught of these Americans against Muslim, still they remain in their cocoon, in their own box. They don't want to come out. They don't want to communicate with non-Muslims. I don't lose any opportunity when I go there to have any interfaith activity, to participate in any interfaith activity. Once I went to such an activity in a church in which Christians, Jews and a few Muslims were there, and the topic was Sharia. One Muslim attorney, young lady, she talked about Sharia, many features of Sharia. Then a professor from university, he was a Christian, he explained that Sharia is not a threat because American Constitution is such that there is no threat. Why people unnecessarily get agitated is not sound. That lecture was okay. And then question answer time, some Nigerian, he got up and he started telling, you see, America has valid reason to be worried from Muslims and Sharia. Why? He is giving his own example in Nigeria. The Muslims have burnt a lot of churches there. And they are horrible people, blah, blah, blah. Instead of asking questions, he gave a 5 minutes lecture on the dangers of Sharia. Inspired by that, another lady from Indonesia, she got up and then she said, I am from the country called Indonesia, which is the biggest Muslim country. And you know those Muslims, they have burned 1,000 churches. This is what one has to be worried about. And she started talking against Islam. And people are listening. Naturally, the way the Nigerian and this Indonesian lady was telling, people will be convinced because there is nobody to clarify. So at that point, I also raised my hand, and then I was supposed to be asking questions, but like them, I also started giving a short talk. I said, I'm just a visitor, I'm not American here like all of you, but I love to be here in such a gathering. Why? Because it provides us an opportunity to sit together. Because we don't sit together, sitting together to talk to each other. If we don't talk to each other, we are suspicious of each other. And these suspicions, they lead to conflicts. So the biggest enemy is not Sharia, the biggest enemy is ignorance. What we need to do is, we have to sit together, we have to talk together, we have to communicate with each other, whether to accept or reject this person's choice. And we don't have any problem, Islam doesn't have any such problem, that you have to believe certain things or you have to accept certain things. This full freedom of choice. No compulsion in matters of faith, things like that. And then I will not give the whole thing what I talked about Sharia, and then explained that Islamic view is that Allah addresses human beings as Bani Adam, children of Adam. That means all human beings, whether Muslims or non-Muslims, they are descendants of Adam, they are all brothers and sisters in humanity. This is the basic concept in Islam. So from that point, I took up Sharia is not a constitution-like thing, that point number 1, 2, 3, this cut his hand, number 2, this cut this, killed him like this. It is a very broad thing. It covers every activity of life, and it applies to Muslim. And then it is the purpose of the Sharia is to betterment of human life, human honor, human wealth, everything. All they are very well defined, and any judgment which is passed, it is not passed by any layman. It has to go to qualified judges to decide what to do. So many things are associated, but things are not properly projected, and this causes conflict. So after that, the moderator was very happy, MC. He said, thank you very much. And then people, after the event was over, we had some snacks. So they came to me, they've called, we come to our church, we need people like you. We need to sit together, we need to talk together. We have this interfaith programs for this purpose. We should not fight with each other, things like that. So all this story, what I want to say is that the main problem with us is we don't talk, we don't communicate with people of other faiths, and we keep blaming others. That is not true. Of course, it may be, it's not that every non-Muslim is a fine gentleman, they don't have any enmity, but on the face of it, we have to give benefit of doubt, and we have to respect human dignity, human honor, and try to go step by step, approaching them, explaining them what we believe and what are the concepts Islam offers. So this particular word non-Muslims, we may have to think about it, how Islam considers non-Muslims. Inshallah, the next week we'll be talking on this in more detail. So when we want to communicate, means we need to communicate, interact, and I use the word connect. A more appropriate word is connect. We have to connect to people. We don't just talk, say hello, how are you, this thing, this not. Connect to means you have to have of course physical connection, shaking hand. Also spiritual connection, emotional connection, social connection. They should feel that they are part of us. Then only they will have some confidence in us to whatever we say, they will be able to listen to us. And this particular activity, we call it dawah. This activity is called dawah. We will come to this word in more detail, inshallah. One way of doing this connection, which we are doing in Bahrain, is through mosque visits. The non-Muslims are invited inside the mosque and we connect to them. And this is also a way to do this. It is not anybody can connect. So we need certain training. We prepare tour guides to do this particular job. Alhamdulillah, we are doing an Al-Fatih Grand Mosque for the last 15 years, and we have developed, day by day we are improving its quality, and this particular activity has been spread outside Bahrain also. It's very popular in Malaysia, where I have been going for the last 5 years. Throughout the Malaysia, different states, it is spreading, it is recognized by the government, the Ministry of Islamic Affairs, they support the program. Malaysia is a Muslim country like Bahrain, but even in Singapore, which is a non-Muslim country, Muslims are only less than a quarter population, but government has recognized some few mosques, some 6 mosques for the purpose of tours. And in one of the national mosques, 300 police officers were sent to the mosque to get orientation of Islam. So this program is quite popular. Why it has become popular? Because we do this connection. So this is also an important aspect of dawah. We'll be talking on the 3rd day, inshallah. The dawah through mosque tour. We named it, we branded it as ATMT, abbreviation, awareness through mosque tour. Inshallah, we'll be discussing in more detail. All these things which we are talking about, of course, these are all based on the Quran and the Prophet's traditions. There is nothing invented by us or started by us. So this basis is there. Only thing is, mostly when we read the Quran or we read the Seerah or the Sunnah of the Prophet, we just pass by, taking things for granted. We don't go a little deeper to reflect upon it. So when we do this, we come across. So I would like to first talk about the basic verse in the Quran which relates to dawah, which is, I think, known to everybody. MashaAllah, all of you have been associated with this activity. This is in Surah An-Nahl, which is Surah number 16 and verse number 125. This Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Ud'u ila sabili rabbik bil hikmati wal mau'izati al hasana. Invite to the way of your Lord with wisdom and beautiful preaching. In this, we need to reflect upon this word ud'u, which is imperative case, which is a command. Allah is telling, invite. Aqimus salat wa atuz zakah. Allah says, establish prayers, give zakah. Same Allah is telling, ud'u, invite. So when we do salah and zakah, why we become ghafil or unmindful of dawah? We should think in those terms. It's a part of our activity. Next word is, which we need to reflect upon, is hikmah. What is hikmah? Wisdom. So we have to think about, reflect upon this. Another word is mau'izat al-hasana, how this beautiful preaching can help us. So this is the basic verse in the light of which our discussion will revolve. These are our topics, inshallah. Today we'll be covering basics. Next we'll be going to the proper mindset and attitude of Muslims. towards dawah, towards non-Muslims. This is very important. This is important because this activity of dawah is not simply a mechanical thing. It needs certain preparation of heart, certain condition of mind. Why? Because this was the job earlier being taken up by the prophets and messengers. This is not a very ordinary job. This is a very important job. And we have to follow their footsteps in order to do a good job. It is not just a robotic work. We just came and did something and then finished. Like Salah, most of us sometimes khushu is there, sometimes it is not there, but we have to complete it somehow. We do up and down movements and then finish. So this needs certain preparation. So inshallah we'll be talking about that preparation of mind and heart. Then this is also an important topic with reference to Bahrain and with reference to our people who are interested in dawah. Yes, please. Alaikum Assalam. Yeah.
Do you find some specific gap or something like that, especially?
Authentic dawah and dawah which people normally do.
They are coupled with so many.
Yeah, it's not contradicting. Actually, we Muslims, we do not have anything like a course in dawah. If you go to Christianity, my goodness, they are very well organized, very well structured, very systematic. They prepared their missionaries. They call it mission work. Dawah actually is a mission work. It has to be taken up on that footing. But we take it casually, and there is no attitude of taking it as mission work. If it is mission work, then it needs to be studied, properly understood, organized, structured, and conducted. We don't have it. Anybody among Muslims, suppose he is a very practicing Muslim, he thinks, what is there? I have to just communicate Islam to other people. I know about Islam, I can communicate. So he goes ahead. This is not true. Because dawah is not just communication. It is salesmanship, it is marketing. The other person should buy from you whatever you want to give to the person. It is not just somebody you pass on and that man is hearing, whether accepting or not accepting, it goes over his head. You think you did your job, but it's not correct. So unfortunately, we Muslims, we do not have such a thing. That's why everybody, whatever direction one takes, thinks this is the right way to do, keeps doing. So you will find sometimes some conflicts.
Actually, I want to answer for you, no? That is conflict are immediately from the holiness of Quran, by trying out various things, because like you are saying, marketing.
Yes.
In those days, they have not heard of marketing, but they did it.
Yes.
Sahabas and the prophets.
Yes.
That's the best method.
Right.
So, but why there's a huge...
It depends on the understanding, how we understood. Traditionally, culturally, we are programmed something. If you live in a society, your mind works as the society is in the particular tradition. So everybody thinks and does like this. If somebody goes little away, people start raising fingers. What is this? You are not doing proper.
So what you are saying is there is a difficulty in approaching in a same manner.
Right. That's right. That's the reason I would like to share my knowledge and experience with you through this. The way I have understood, the way I have practiced, I will share with you. Now, you, after listening to it, you take it or leave it. It's up to you. I'm not telling you have to accept. I am telling right, you are wrong or something like that. I am presenting before you based on my own personal experience. You will not find these things in books most of the things. Certain things, of course, basic principles will be found in the books and all those, but I am dotting it with my own personal experiences and examples, connecting to the principles and connecting to the results. How the principle is applied, how we get the results, so that it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, you are free to disagree with me and not to accept, but I would request, if you disagree with me, please let me know, so that if really I am wrong, I may correct myself. I should not do anything wrong. So it will help me to improve my own understanding. So this is open to criticism, open to disagreement, because Dawah is not something, an exact science. 2 + 3, only one answer, 5. It cannot be 4, it cannot be 6. So this is exact science. This is not exact science, this is more of a skill. We'll be talking about it, inshallah. If the time permits, then afterwards we'll go to handling questions coming from non-Muslims. For that also there is no exact thing, that one fixed answer, thing like that. There are so many factors involved, so we have to be careful about this while answering, whom you are answering, or what is the curiosity of the person. All those things are important for us to understand before answering. So inshallah we'll try to cover these aspects within this short period of time. I want to be very interactive so that you understand well and I enrich my own understanding and knowledge through such an interaction. So let us go to the basics of Dawah to non-Muslims. The first thing is, we will be talking about the basics. And for me, I have to declare that I am not an alim, I am not a scholar, but my area of focus is basics. I find basics are very important. Most of the people, they go to big things, upper structure, beautiful building. They forget about the fundamentals, basics, including many scholarly persons. Whenever the discussions take place, they discuss very high things in front of people who do not catch them. So we miss the connection. So if we go from basics to the upper structure, that works very well. If you start from upper structure, coming to basic, it doesn't work. So for me, basics are very important, and my area of interest is basics. And I want to tell you why I pay so much of attention to basics. Basics in everything is very important, not only for Dawah, for everything. Basics are very important. Why basics? Let us now know why we want basics. Are you able to see this picture? Brother Luqman, are you able to see this picture? Yes. What is going on? They are breaking the ground, they are digging something to lay foundation of some building. Now the building is erected. The building is so beautiful building, but the starting was with this mess, isn't it? Without this mess, this beautiful building would not have been possible, right? So in the beginning, this has to be there in any case. Just we cannot expect a beautiful building without this. Another example of a tree, the roots. The roots are responsible for holding this big tree which bears fruits. We are able to get the fruits because the roots are there underground to hold the tree, supply the food for the tree. All those things are going which are not noticed by you. Backside things are there. That's why the tree is existing, flourishing and giving fruits. So this is not seen outside, they are underground. So basics remain unseen, they remain underground. But if basics are not clear, these big things which you are expecting, you may not get. So what does it mean? It means that first things first. We have to think about basics first before going to big things. Before quoting from the Quran big things, and then we have to understand first basics and proceed further. Knowledge of basics is very important in any learning, not only Dawah, not only Islam, any ordinary, if you want to learn economics, mathematics, whatever it is, you have to start from basics, from definitions, from very basic things, and then slowly we proceed. We start, for example, mathematics from grade 3, grade 4, arithmetic, and then slowly we keep developing. We go to calculus, trigonometry, and all those higher levels of things. So we don't study calculus or trigonometry in grade 3. We do in college. So things come at their own time. There are 6 points which can tell us the importance of basics. Priority wise, when it should be basics are required, first. Basics should come first, not later. If basics are not clear and then you are talking about big things, then you are messing up. So we have to start, your starting point should be in the beginning itself. The first thing should be, you have to prioritize basic. Basic should be clear, then proceed further. Effort wise, that means how much effort is required. For example, when building, you are making a building, first thing you are digging the foundation. This is the first thing you do. Is laying the foundation is difficult, or constructing the building, which is more difficult? More difficult? It's very easy, no? How much time it takes? Laying foundation is not much, but building till it is completed, when it is workable, it takes a lot of time. It may take a year. Speed wise, it is quicker. Basics are obtained quicker. Fundamentals are laid quicker. Less time. Appearance wise, not visible. As we have seen, the roots are underground. You cannot see foundation of this Baraka building. You don't see, mashallah. You are sitting in this hall and enjoying this, but we don't see the foundation of this. Function, what is the function of the basics? What is the function of the foundation or the roots? Holds the structure, holds the tree. So this is a very important aspect. Basics are so important. And to sum up, importance wise, most important. Most important. So please pay attention to basics in every learning, not only in this class, any subject, whether related to Islam or not related to Islam, secular subjects, basics. We have to be clear about basics. Any question or comment? No questions? Yes, please.
Starting, you said one word, kafir.
Yeah.
For non-Muslims.
Yeah.
Mostly when you say this word to a non-Muslim, they feel very offended by this word.
Right. They have reason to do that.
Why are we calling them kafirs? Because they are unfortunate to born in another religion and they have not been taught about this.
Yes.
About Islam.
Yes.
So how they can be kafir?
That's the thing we will be discussing. This is very important to understand. We Muslims normally, we are guided by emotions. We don't think. That's the reason our next session will focus on this. Focus on what exactly is kafir in the language of the Quran. how Quran views, not how we understand. Our understanding is not necessarily be exactly like what Quran wants to tell us, because we are conditioned to think in one particular way. So when we start analyzing, when we start digging a little deep, it becomes clear to us. What went wrong when Kumar was born in a Hindu family? He became Hindu. When John was formed in a Christian family, so he remained Christian. And Ahmad was born in a Muslim family, so he is a Muslim. So the condition of all the three is same. What is a big deal? Oh no, Muslim says I am on the right. So does the Christian. The Christians say they are the right. Muslims are misguided people. In Islam there is no savior. In Christianity, savior is there. Jesus is going to save. So every religious person thinks that my religion is the correct religion. So because of that, every person born to in one particular faith thinks I am on the right track, and so does the Muslim. So what is the big deal? Why we should think that yeah, we are on the right track? Unless we put everything together, unless we compare in very open-minded way, which is acceptable to all faiths. We put together everything, whether Hindu or Christian or Muslim or this thing, let us agree upon certain things, criteria to judge. And then we proceed, that makes sense. But if we say unidirectionally, because I am Muslim, I think it is the right religion, so I keep on bulldozing others, this is not proper. This is not the way we to engage with people of other faiths. This is we would like to discuss in our discussion. Okay, we are talking about basics. Everybody understands basics, isn't it? Anybody who doesn't understand the word basics? Everybody understands. Okay. What information you need when we say I want to know about basics? I want to know about basics of Islam means what you want to know. Or I want to know about the basics of Dawah means what you would like to know. The word basics is a very broad word. We understand it, but I want to be specific. I want this information.
The minimum quantity of information.
Sorry?
The minimum quantity of information from Islam to convey.
Minimum quantity of information, very vague. What is that minimum quantity of information? I want to be specific. No, this is not wrong. I'm not telling wrong. This is true. This is how we understand. You are totally correct. But I want to be specific so that when I try to learn, I am confident that I have learned the basics. Yes?
Essentially, what to do and what not to do when presenting dawah to non-Muslims.
Yes, of course. Any sisters? Yes, please.
The most important thing in Islam, Tawheed. This is the basic.
Tawheed is a term related to the if I want to know about Islam. But my question is in general, when we use the word basics, I want what sort of thing I should know about when I say basics of anything, X, Y, Z, basics of economics, basics of aerodynamics, basics of journalism, basics of geology.
Guiding rules.
Yes. Basics of anything, one common thing.
The most important things in this knowledge.
Yeah, so that's what he said. So, any other brainstorming? I will make your job easy, very easy. He knows. Okay. If you want to know about the basics of anything, you have to put certain questions. Certain questions, if you ask this question, the answer is the basic. For example, you put the question, on Islam. So what? Answers to the what? What is Islam? Will it not form the basic? Can there be anything more basic than the answer to what is Islam? Isn't it? If I want to know geodesy, you have heard the word geodesy. Has anybody heard this word geodesy? No. So what thing comes to your mind? What is geodesy? So this is the most basic information concerning geodesy. Any term or any, just give an example. So please put such questions. If you want to know about basics of anything, put this question, what? And the answer, it will constitute the basic. The minimum, what you are telling, this is the minimum. Not only what, another valid question is why and where, when, so many you can put depending on what you want to know. Certain things are relevant, certain things may not be relevant, but the most important thing relevant is always what. What you will not miss. So why, how, and you can go. So the answers which come to these questions, they constitute the basics. So if I want to know the basics of Islam, so I have to ask, what is Islam? Why I should have Islam? This is very basic. Do Muslims question like this? What is Islam? Did you ever question what is Islam? No. Because I am born as a Muslim, I feel very contented, I am very happy. And I enjoy Ramadan, I go for Hajj and everything I do spiritually, I feel contented, fulfilled. So no questions to be asked. This is the problem. The Quran asks us to think, ponder, reflect, and go proceed so that your faith becomes strong. We don't think. So we have to put these questions. What? Why I should be Muslim? Why not Christian? Oh, it doesn't make sense. Make sense? Have you heard them? No. You see their logic, they also got certain reason. Even Hindus, they have certain, if you talk to them, learned person, they come up with a lot of arguments, justifications for their what they believe. So everyone has certain justification, certain basis, what they believe, what they do. So without knowing, when we proceed, then we falter. That's not a proper approach. Alhamdulillah, we are Muslims, we thank Allah. But these are the things important. Similarly, coming to dawah, we have to put these questions. I want to know about dawah. You are interested in knowing how to present Islam to non-Muslims. Let me put these questions. What is dawah? Why I should do dawah? And how I should do dawah? These are the basic questions. I need to have answers to them. These answers which make sense to me and which are supported by the Quran and the Sunnah. So then that forms the information on dawah. I have learned dawah. This appears more systematic, more logical. Any comments, Brother Luqman?
I think also we can add to that whether we are really applying it, we must apply the basics.
Yes. The application part, yeah. Right. Right. You are right. We have to apply it. When we learn, why do we learn? To apply. I learn something to apply. I want to do MBBS, Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery, to become a doctor. I spent 6 years of studying in college, university, and 2 years I spent in internship to become doctor. After spending 6-7 years, if I come and open a vegetable shop, what you will think? You are a foolish person. Why did you waste so much of time? What is the fun in doing all this? When you are not applying that knowledge, you have spent your time, you have spent your efforts, you have done so much of hard work to do something, apply that thing. You have to open a clinic and or you join some clinic and do practice your medicine. So any knowledge when you gain, the Islamic concept is knowledge not for the sake of knowledge. Knowledge is for the sake of application. In Islamic concept of knowledge is not just to know. Example, Shaitan, Iblis, he had the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes or no? He was in paradise. He was with Malaik, with the angels. He had full knowledge. But did this knowledge help him? No, because he did not apply that knowledge and he became arrogant and then he was doomed. So,
We do the correct dawah. Even Allah will support us.
yeah.
And if we do that, Allah will guide us.
Yes, not probably, yes.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm talking.
Yes.
I forgot.
That's what we believe, yeah. Okay, now coming back to this basics, so we'll be inshallah discussing this basics of dawah with reference to these questions. What time is our break? Sorry, 5 minutes? Sorry?
You decide. I want to take a break.
No, I don't want to decide because you are the people to. Salah time is 5 minutes more for Salah. Where is the MC? Where is MC? That man, Brother Hanif. Yes. He talks about sambusas and breaks and other things. Today he is missing. What time? 8 o'clock? 5 minutes more? Okay. We'll break at 8 o'clock. Please come, Brother Ahmad. Come. 5 minutes more. We were talking about knowledge, knowing what, why and how of dawah. But this knowledge is not an exact science. It is more to do with skills. It is not like fiqh. There are rules, regulations, things like that. You learn. There are things like that. So a person who completes a course in fiqh, he can apply that knowledge immediately. But in case of dawah, this is something different. This is more to be viewed as a skill. So there are two aspects of a skill. One aspect is, of course, you have to have knowledge. Without knowledge, you cannot do dawah. And the second aspect is its application of that knowledge, which is the practice, which generates skill. So under knowledge, which knowledge? Knowledge of the principles of dawah. Knowledge of dawah guidelines, the do's and don'ts. There are certain things when we do dawah, we should be careful. There are certain things we should do, ensure certain things we should not do, ensure we don't do, avoid those things. And we should have the knowledge of Islam, which is our product, which we want to market. So we should have the knowledge about Islam. If somebody asks, what is Islam? Then you will say Islam stands on 5 pillars, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is not the answer. So you are not able to sell your product properly. You know, but you are not able to sell it. Yes, please.
Are you considering this dawah as one of the main activities, a skill? Say only a skill. Any other main activity there?
Dawah is essentially a skill in the sense when it is applied, you have to have certain elements attached to this knowledge of these things and experience and deal with the real life situations. Only theory, it doesn't work. It is like, okay, you want to learn driving, you sit in the class, the teacher talks about you have to, when you want to drive a car, you sit there, hold the steering, then put the gear, put it into this, and then shift it, and then press the accelerator and proceed. Okay, you learned everything. But when you sit really in the car, could you drive through Manama? No. Theory is theory. But unless you apply it in practice, you will not attain that skill. Another example is swimming, for example. If a teacher talks to you how to swim, how to put strokes and all those things, okay, you learned. You have to put your body like this, you have to push water in this way, and you have to put hand like this. And if you are thrown into water, you will swim? No. So unless you are pushed into water, you cannot learn swimming. Unless you get involved into dawah, you will not be doing dawah in a real sense. Of course, dawah is not like so much of like swimming, which is a tough thing, but dawah is not that much tough. Dawah is much easier. That we will discuss the aspects of dawah.
I thought you didn't mention any other attributes. You mentioned only skill.
Yes.
Now only you need only skill. Any other?
That skill includes many things, like communication skills, for example. Connecting. Sorry?
Like spirituality.
Sorry?
Nature of the person. Spirituality. How much is with Allah? You are doing now.
Those things, they come in another aspect. We'll be talking about the arkan of dawah, pillars of dawah. In that we can say.
I think if I add to his question, is when you in the beginning said ud'u is an imperative that,
Yes.
that could perhaps if it's a command from Allah, then
Yes.
definitely it adds to that. It could be a kind of worship.
Yes.
I think what he is trying to make.
Right.
But
Yeah, it's a
since
good
it's
point. Yeah.
imperative, so
Yes.
that therefore it's not a skill, because skill would reduce it to a rather
Okay.
a lesser
Yeah.
thing.
It's a good point. Yeah.
Some people are skillful.
Yeah. No. The skill which we understand in a secular way, that reduces, as you said. So better I use in a more
Exactly.
valuable way than. Yeah, you are right. I agree with that. Yes. So we will continue after prayers, inshallah. Yes, please. After this question.
How do we know that our knowledge is
Yes.
enough to practice
Yes.
dawah?
How do we know this knowledge?
That our knowledge
Yes.
is enough to practice dawah.
How to ascertain the knowledge?
Yes.
Okay.
Because maybe I will give a
Yes.
bad image.
Yes.
If I don't have the enough knowledge.
Yes. So for this in dawah, it is not that you have to have one certificate in dawah, or BA or an MA and master's, magistrate or doctorate or something like that. Because your addressees to whom you are doing dawah, they also have different levels. So if somebody is a laborer, he is uneducated, he can do dawah to his colleagues. He need not be Faragh from Jamiat al-Azhar. He is misfit there. So if somebody is talking to priests and missionaries, then this laborer will not be of any use. I have to have my level of knowledge also equivalent to him. So among Muslims, among our society, everybody should think that I can do dawah. That's why the Prophet ﷺ said, "Balighu anni walau aya," means according to your capacity. You do not wait till you attain certain knowledge. You proceed according to your level, whatever you have got. Don't sit idle. That is the bottom line. You should proceed, but you should not remain contented. If your salary is 80 dinars or 100 dinars, you don't remain contented 100 dinars throughout your life. You want to grow. So in deen also we should try to grow all the time. We should, if you are driving Toyota Corolla, you are not sufficient. You are looking for Mercedes one day and maybe some bigger vehicle. We always try to think in higher terms. So in Dawah also we should think. And once you land into this field, you definitely grow. The field itself is such that it keeps you growing. You cannot remain stagnant. This is the field. This is the beauty of this particular activity. The benefits of Dawah, inshallah, we'll be talking about why Dawah. Under that, these are the benefits.